I am recording, so thanks for joining us, everybody. I am super excited to be back from convention. Hopefully everybody is back and well rested and just ready to tackle our businesses, excited about the Leaders Retreat contest. I hope you've all seen that and everything that's going to be going on with that. It's going to be amazing. For anyone who has not heard, really quickly, Leaders Retreat will be in right outside, I guess, of Dallas, Texas. And we always stay at a Gaylord hotel, at least so far. We've always stayed at Gaylord's. We'll be outside of Dallas. And it is a trip where your entire hotel is paid for by Plexus. You have to earn the right to go. So unlike convention where everyone can attend, you actually have to get enough points to attend Leaders Retreat. There was an email that came out if you didn't get it. I also posted all the information on my team page, talking about how to get to Leaders Retreat, which is all about recruiting new ambassadors in your levels 1 through 4, getting new customers, and having a good PV. I posted an image yesterday that showed lots of different ways that you can get to Leaders Retreat, lots of different ways that you can get those points, and then also you can earn, there's 2 cash awards, there's a private reception award, and there are other prizes and rewards as well while you're in Dallas. So at least everybody needs to try to get there. You need enough points to get to Leaders Retreat. And then on top of that, let's start working on some cash and other prizes. You pay your own hotel, right? Hotel. Airway there. They pay for your hotel. And then there's a couple of meals that are included and whatever. Totally an amazing time, super fun. They go all out, just like with convention, only it's smaller and more private. Huge parties. There's always a huge Halloween party. Lots of really fun events. So you definitely want to get there, get your teammates there. It's always more fun to do together. And I'm super excited about it. So that's all I wanted to say about Leaders Retreat. I have 5. This is a problem. You'll have to tell me. I have no idea how to make that stop on my computer. My computer is now attached to my iPhone. I knew that was going to happen. I don't know how to make it stop, so sorry. I just hung up on somebody. I hope they didn't need anything. I also don't know how to mute my phone without answering it and hanging up on you. So, sorry. I hope they don't call back. Y'all can tell me how to mute my phone next time. All right, so anyway, I know. I'm just a big old mess. So anyway, all right, so we have 5 people who are going to talk to us tonight about what they thought of the convention and some takeaways that they have gotten from convention. So I hope that you have paper and pencil and are ready to take some notes. We are going to start with Etta. Etta is going to share some information about some of the general events that we went to, which were absolutely fantastic. I can't even say enough about how Plexus does everything right at convention. So let's see if we can unmute Etta.
Good.
Yep. I hear you, girl.
All right. First off, convention was a blast. If you was not there, you need to get to Leaders Retreat and attend every event possible that you can get to, because it is amazing. It is a motivator. It really builds you up. Before I left to go convention, I was really struggling. I had some things going on here personally, and I was really struggling. And so convention really helped me pass that. Convention helped me to see that I needed to do self-improvement. I needed to do more self-looking into things, and that is one of the major takeaways I had from there was promoting myself. I had to get myself ready to help my team. So that was one of the major things I took away from convention, which I really needed. On the way over on the plane, I listened to The Secret, because I was trying to get myself prepared for convention. So I listened to The Secret, which little did I know that when we got to convention, that was going to be one of the things they spoke about was this. It wasn't The Secret, it was another book. I can't remember the name of the book, but positive thinking, how when you positive think of things, they occur. So positive thinking and self-improvement are 2 of the biggest things that anyone can do. One of the things that Victor had us do was every day you had to talk to 3 people and get 3 tips of what they were doing to help you with your business. At first I thought, he is crazy. I am not talking to these people. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. Well, not only did it help me get out of my shell and talk to people, which I have talked to thousands of people now since Vegas. It also showed me that consistency. Everyone said consistency. Every single one of them. There was a couple who didn't, but almost everyone said consistency. That was big. I thought, he is crazy. We are going to talk to 3 people all day. So it's like, what is he thinking? But it helps me to go out and talk to people, because you start talking to everyone that you run into. It didn't matter if it's Plexus or non-Plexus. I talk to them. I made so many friends. I don't even know where half these people are, but they're on my Facebook now. So I now have them all, and they're all seeing my Plexus posts. So, oh well. But it was, biggest part of them said consistency. You had to be consistent with your product. You had to be consistent with your Facebook. You had to be consistent with sharing. Who is going to want to take something or believe you when you have to do something? So you have to be consistent in everything you do. Another one of the major things was Rita Davenport. Hilarious. Loved her. There were so many notes on her that I can't even begin to even go over. The biggest thing that stuck out to me was, I got to do this for my kid, my daughter. She has to see me be successful and succeed and follow my dreams in order for her to do hers. I need her to see me be successful. I need her to see me have a dream. And that's another thing she said, that if you don't, where is that note? It costs you nothing to dream, but everything if you don't. And that's so true. If you don't have a dream, then what do you have? You have to have this dream, and you have to be able to prove to your kids that they can also have this dream and go out in life and fulfill this dream. I mean, her dream is going to be probably different than what my dream is, but she has to see her mama be able to have this dream, go out, put into place an action, and succeed at it. And I want her to be able to do that. I mean, she's still a teenager, but hey, she's got to be able to do this herself too. Life's a choice. Whether life is a choice. You are where you are today because of that choice. I made a choice. Some of the choices in my life have not been the greatest of choices, but it was still a choice that I made. And I am where I am today because of some of those choices. So we have to be able to make those choices and grow from those choices. If you just make a choice and you fail, then you don't learn anything from it. It's just a failure. You got to be able to learn from even those bad days. And lately I had a bunch of bad days, but I have looked back, took notes. I'm like, okay, this is where I can learn from those days. And I got to move forward and use that as a learning experience as to what I did wrong or what I did right and how I can correct that in the future. Another way is for me I have to start focusing on everyone else. I have to start focusing on how I can help my team grow themselves and how they can help others. In order for us to succeed, we have to help others. We have to put others before ourselves. In order to do that, sometimes it's a little hard, especially when you work full time. You are like me, I'm a single parent, so I'm always on the go. And most of my business, I run from my phone in my car waiting for the pickup. Or I will do it when I'm in between, dropping off here, dropping off there, or late at night. I mean, sometimes it is late at night when I'm doing things. But that's just my busy lifestyle. But in order for me to succeed, I have to carve out 15, 20 minutes for me in order for me to improve and for me to get back to people and to do things that I need to do to grow my business. Sorry, I'm going through all my notes are crazy.
It's great information, Etta. I love it.
I think that's all I have for right now. My notes are like all over the place. I was writing notes left and right, and they don't make no sense to me now, but I was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I love the shareables in our new website. I have used those. I have the I Am Plexus. A couple, especially that guy that they showed, the military guy. When they showed that video, it really spoke to me with a couple of my people that I've been talking to. So, of course, I get on my little phone and I share it, and I send it directly to the messenger. Be like, hey, watch this video. It reminds me of you. And I love that feature to where I can just send that right to them. They see it. It takes them directly to my website, and they can see all that. I love those shareables. A+ with Alexis on doing it. I love it. I love that they're going to be doing more things on there for other products where they're putting shareables where we can put later on. That's coming. I love that part. I think that's all I have.
That's all good stuff. I love it all.
It's just like I can't get it all out.
There is so much. I mean, when you've got 3 action-packed days full of notes, I mean, it's hard to pare it down. But that's all really good stuff. And I think the positive thinking for me was huge for a lot of people, just to really wrap your mind around the negativity isn't helping you. And it's not, it's just bringing you down. You know, it's not lifting you up in any way. So we have to squash that negative thinking and not even let it come to life in your brain. You know, just squash it immediately and start thinking of positive things and change your mindset to when you think of something negative immediately, you know, okay, let me think of something positive. Let me change this around, you know, whatever. So
that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. That's going to be really big for you. So I'm excited for you. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So going along with that, Julie is going to share some from our general sessions as well, I do believe. So Julie, can you unmute yourself, or do you need me to? We shall see.
I did.
Good job. All right.
This was my first Plexus event, and I was blown away just by the professionalism of all of it. A couple of the biggest things that hit home with me were your mindset. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And belief doesn't come from success. Success comes from belief. You need to have belief in these products, and you need to have belief in the MLM and our company. And not that I didn't have belief in our company, but I think the biggest thing to me was when Tarl was on stage telling his background and his history of when he worked in an MLM and the company didn't really take care of him. And he said he saw people go making $8,000 a month down to $2,000. And he just reiterated over and over how the decisions that this company is going to make, if it's not good for the ambassadors, but it's good for the company, they won't do it. If it's good for the company, but not good for the ambassadors, they won't do it. It has to be good for the company and the ambassadors. And that was so impressive to me. Also, knowing your why, you know, and that may change as you go on this journey. But you have to have that passion. Why are you doing this? You have to stay focused so you don't get discouraged. It's okay if you hear 10 no's if you get 1 yes. And to have a why that makes you cry. Your why has to be greater than your why not. And that Rita Davenport was awesome. She also said, do what you don't want to do for a little while so that you can do what you want to do forever. That really hit home for me. And what Etta also said about personal growth, that is huge. You know, you guys have been preaching that to me for months and months and months. And until I really started getting into reading the MLM books and applying that, that's made a difference. Having goals that are SMART, the acronym SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and timeout. How long is it going to take you to achieve those goals? And also not to prejudge. It's not our job to decide whether or not this is for people or not. It's our job to present the opportunity to people. Let them decide if they need the products or if they need the business. John Addison was awesome. He said, no politician will ever revive the American dream. That's up to you. And I totally believe that. And he said, who are you letting take up space in your head and controlling your actions? Don't be distracted by, like Melissa said, the negativity. And get happy every day. If you wait on circumstance, it's never going to happen. So those are my key points. Loved it. It was a great experience.
It was so great to have you there. Absolutely. I loved it. I absolutely love your don't prejudge. That is huge. And that's so true. I mean, we had a situation in my home today, someone who started talking about how much she wants to do this business with me. And when she left, I said to Matt, I was like, did you ever see that coming? Like, it was just one of those people that you're like, where did that come from? But totally, you just have to present that business opportunity and the products to everyone. You never, ever know who's going to want to jump in with you. So that's awesome. Lots of great stuff. The mindset, if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're right. Like, that's so, so true. Love it. I love all of that. Great stuff, Julie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so Mindy is going to share with us. She was in the Ambassador and Silver Ambassador training. So at one point on Wednesday morning, maybe, we broke out by rank. And so there was an Ambassador, Silver Ambassador, and then a Gold, Senior Gold, and then a Ruby, Senior Ruby, and then a Jewel breakout. And so I asked Mindy to share some from the Ambassador Silver. So Mindy, are you ready?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I have to give my Aunt Heather some credit too, because I got with her about making sure we have notes that work and that we can share. So that I really want to share her point of talking about the ambassador kit that comes now when you sign up with an ambassador. It comes with the cards that talk about each product. Thank you, Heather. She's showing them. And each card has the product information. Well, Sarah Marble got up on the stage and she was like, take these with you and read from the card. She was talking about how easy it was and how you don't have to really think too much about it or memorize everything. You can literally just be like, oh, look, well, we have this, and it does this, and it's made of that. So that's a useful tool, at least. She also talked about being an active listener and opening doors to create ways to share. So if I'm reaching out to someone and wanting to know how I can get to them with Plexus, we'll create that open some kind of a door, like whether it's like a personal or a family or like a fitness, some kind of relationship. Open up a door so that you have a conversation, you have that relationship, and then listen to their problem with it. Then you can figure out your way to intro Plexus. That was from Sarah Marble, and I love her. Sheila Medina got up. I hope you've seen some of her videos. First diamond we've had. But she talked about the sharing the opportunity of, being an ambassador. There's 4 steps. She said, number 1 is ask questions. Kind of like how I just mentioned, you want to know what their issue is and to become an active listener. 2, you want to share the benefits after you get to, figuring out their deal and asking their questions. Share what's so cool about Plexus, how we benefit, why we're doing it. Then answer their questions. That's number 3. And then you work on closing the deal. So here's how she started. Here's the number 1 step was asking a question. She said, you could say something like this. May I ask you a few questions about yourself before I tell you about Plexus? Like if someone were to message you and be like, hey, tell me about Plexus, what is this? You jump in on them and be like, hey, wait, before I tell you, I want to ask you a few questions about you. Then she said, when you're doing that, remember to be authentic, have integrity, be respectful, and be trustworthy. When you're asking questions, remember 4, like the car, like the truck, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You want to ask them about their family, get to know them. You want to ask them about their occupation, their job. What are they doing now? What do they like? What do they don't like about it? Ask them about recreation. What do they do for fun? What do they wish they could do? And then dreams, really, what do they wish they can do or wish they could afford or want in the future? So when you're remembering those things, you're able to ask questions that dig to a specific spot about Plexus and how they can be a part of us too. For sharing the benefits, when you're asking them questions, and you can ask something like, oh, what do you love most about life? How different would life be without any debt you had to pay for? What if you could make your family dream come true? Then you can share the benefits that connect to that. Tell them how we can make more money. Tell them how you could finally be out of debt. Tell them how you can take your family on trips because you have an extra Plexus fund. You want to speak to their why. So back to that question you asked them, remember that question, remember their reason, and then speak directly to it. It's not always money. It could just be health. It could just be people. Maybe they just want to make friends. I don't know. And then what you want to do is ask them a question that regards to what they were asking about. So say something like, so far, what impresses you the most? Let's talk about any questions you have. Get them involved in your conversation so that you can go turn around and answer it and close the deal. Does that make sense? That was Sheila Medina talking. So one more thing I want to talk about for what we heard in the silver was when Rebecca Folks got up. Love her. Didn't really know much about her until the day we listened to her. She got up and was all about social media posts. And she brought up the whole algorithm of Facebook and how not everybody sees everything you post. And you can't just post the same time a day. You can't post the same kind of thing a day. So she talked about not only being reflective of your business, like when you do post, like don't be like eating a big old giant burger and then saying, oh, you know, block this and Plexus that. No, don't post things like that, which is, I guess, not always common sense, but you want to be the positive image that they want to buy. So she said, or maybe it wasn't her that said this, but someone said, people don't buy the products, they buy you. So be reflective of what you want to put across. And then she talked about posting smarts. She gave a 10-4-1 rule, which might seem kind of out of reach or a little much, because I know I'm not on Facebook 15 times a day. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. But her 10-4-1 rule was post 10 things that are not Plexus, not health, not anything else, but just you. Post 4 things that are indirectly Plexus related, like don't use the words, but it kind of is gearing towards that. And then 1 thing would be directly Plexus related. So it's 10-4-1, because you don't want to, you know, sweep away all the people who don't want to see what you have to say or don't care or aren't interested. But you want to be their friend on Facebook too, because you've got to build your own network too. And then her posting times, she said, pay attention to the time you're posting. She said, I don't know if this was her own research or her experience, but she said the best time to post would be 8 in the morning, lunchtime, noon, or 8 at night. Because when people wake up, they're on it. When they're at lunch break, they're on it. When they go to bed, they're on it. So I think that's mainly the stuff I wanted to say from Silver. So I think I'm back.
Awesome. I cannot imagine posting on Facebook 15 times a day. I'm just going to tell you right now. That is insane.
Yep.
But it clearly has worked for her, so who are we? You know, she's a diamond, I am not. So if you want to post 15 times a day, make sure you use a 10-4-1. Awesome. Love it. Thank you very much for sharing. Crystal was at the Senior Gold meeting, and she is going to share a little bit with us about that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yay. Okay, so if you weren't there, you definitely need to be there next year, because I never thought that I would be there, and it was amazing. It totally builds your belief in the business, the products, everything. It builds your belief about life. It's very good. You need to be there. So in the Senior Gold group, the 4 things that we talked about were the success kit and how to manage your time, growing your team, and motivating and duplicating every session that we were in talked about how you should be using your Success Kit. And I think we kind of use it at the beginning, but just to get our business started, or maybe we didn't have it when we got our business started, but you need to get it and use it to train your teams. So we talked about this quick start guide is the first thing that you see when you open the thing, and how you should take a picture of it and put it in your phone and hang it up next to your computer or whatever. And that is the 10 steps you should use to train your new ambassadors. And they talked about the first 30 to 60 days, how critical they are. And just go through each one of these 10 steps and think about how you can help new ambassadors do that. And once you've done all 10, then start back over with them again and do them again. So one of the things they talked about were their why, and figure it out, and then figure out how to help them get there. Turn it into their goals, small goals, medium goals, the big picture goals. And then we talked about, hold on, I lost all my notes that I was just about to tell you. We talked, Jen Hawkins was there, which I love her. She was amazing. And she talked about how when something is a priority, you make time for it. And I mean, I think a lot of the things that we hear, the objections we hear are we don't have time for it, but I think that's just a good little quote to tell people when they say that. And they talked about time blocking and making sure that you block out that 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day or whatever you need to get your business done. Yeah, you can work it in your nooks and crannies, but there comes a point where you really have to say, I really need 15 minutes to focus on my job or on my goals or helping my team or whatever. And they talked about how multitasking is no good. No one is getting the best of that. Their example they used was, if you're making a sandwich and training an ambassador at the same time, either your sandwich is really going to suck or your ambassador is not going to be trained right. So you need to split those up. Don't do those at the same time. Also, they talked about teaching your team to do things on their own, because you're not going to always, you can't do everything for them at the same time. So as you're teaching them, teach them where to get information from, and that cuts your hour that you would have to block out to solve everyone else's problems down to 15 minutes. And and then they can tell their ambassadors, teach their ambassadors that, so they're not all flooding to you. One of my serious favorite things that I learned is all the shortcuts to make your time quicker, like doing shortcuts on your iPhone. I had no idea that you could even do this. I feel like I'm way out of it, but like if you go into your keyboard shortcuts and create shortcuts like for your website, or like for that, like when Mindy was talking about, can I ask you questions about yourself first? Like we all have those same questions that we ask. And if you just type in like beginning questions, and then it pops up like 4 questions that you don't have to type every time. It's genius. I love it. And another thing they talked about was branding. Like Mindy said, don't post things on your Facebook that you don't like. That's not what we want everyone to see. Yes, you may have really loved that cupcake that you ate, but no one needs to see that. Like you just don't need to post it. They talked about, hold on, I have more notes about branding, because it was a big one. I think people do this all the time, and so do I. And it's just not good. I don't know where it is. But just don't post things that, like, you don't post that you feel like crap today, because, don't lie about it and say you feel great, but there's really no need to put it out there. And they even went as far to say as go back and erase some things, because when you find a new friend on Facebook and then they go back and look at all your past stuff, and they don't want you to see you, like feeling like crap or tired all the time, and you are a Plexus ambassador. So set your brand, and your team is going to follow you. So don't post things. I see that all the time. It drives me crazy. So that was like a huge thing for me, was knowing your brand. And how to run with your runners, like put your time into the people that want to work it. Don't waste your time on people that are just there for like wholesale or kind of working in or whatever. I mean, you need to respect your whole team, all your levels, and help them when they want it, but just don't pour into the people who just don't really want to be poured into. It's a waste of your time. Your little 15 minutes that you have blocked out. But the whole thing was amazing. Could talk forever about it. It was so good.
It was awesome. And I think along with that, don't post, that you're eating cupcakes and whatever. I've heard as well, essentially just be the best version of you. So, don't be cussing on Facebook. Don't talk bad about people on Facebook. Don't
or be negative in general.
Right. Don't post negative posts on Facebook. It's just, it doesn't present the best side of you.
Right. People are, like Mindy said, are buying into you, and they don't want to be like a negative, unhappy, rude person. They want to be very happy and all things are going great. And I mean, you don't want to lie about everything, but
just not fake
posting.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. Thank you very much. All right. And our last presenter for this evening, last but not least for certain, we had an amazing new event this year, which was fantastic. And yet I can say that, and I wasn't invited. But I know it was fantastic because it was the Men of Plexus. And it was 7 o'clock in the morning. Those poor things all had to get up bright and early, and the entire room was full. If you haven't seen the picture of all the Men of Plexus, it was a large room, probably fit about 1,500 people. It was the same size as the Jules room. I hope you can't hear my children screaming at the top of their lungs. That's lovely. So I'll be muting myself soon. It was fantastic, and Mike is going to share about that while I mute myself.
Hey everyone, can you hear me? Awesome. So yes, the Men of Plexus, it was amazing. Just like the rest of convention, it was not a letdown. It was well worth the 7 o'clock in the morning wake up. So there was a group of 5 people, a panel of 5 men that were sharing their version and their stories. It was mostly testimonies, and then there was some question and answer towards the end, but it was exactly what I needed. Myself personally, I've been posting since last September. And it's been hit or miss for me, and to the point sometimes where you kind of get down and you're like, what am I doing wrong? What else can I do? Well, this reaffirmed everything, that I'm doing exactly everything correct, and I'm following the same path as all of you women do, and you follow the diamonds and things that are ahead of you. I'm following the same path as all these men have followed. And they reaffirmed that with some of the things they said. Some of the most important roles of men, they say, are supporting their wives. They did a poll of the room, and they asked how many had wives that were doing Plexus, and I think every hand was raised. It was incredible. And then they also did a poll of who was the skeptics, who were in the supporter role, and who were the all-in ambassadors. And it was pretty even. The difficulties for men they shared. And I have the same difficulty where I start talking to women and they get hesitant. They don't want to share their pooping problems or whatever else with a guy. They want to share with a woman. And so they all had the same issue, and they said most of the time when they come across this, they become that support. And then they pass off to their wife, who then finishes the deal. And that's exactly the same case in Shanda and myself scenario. I've had that several times, and I get frustrated, yet that's exactly, I'm following the same path. Every single man that was on this panel was at one time a skeptic, made believer. And being that Tim, if you know Tim and Michelle Thomas, Tim shared his story, and it was absolutely incredible. So Tim had lost his job, and he couldn't even support his family. He didn't know what he was going to do, and Michelle comes to him and says, hey, I want to do this Plexus thing. And basically in his mind, he's thinking, you're nuts. You want to spend money that we don't have. But being the loving husband as he said he is, he said, okay, go for it, honey. And she did. And during that time, they had to move their family to Florida. And when they got to Florida, in order for them to get there, Tim had to sell their second vehicle. So they get there, they had one vehicle between the two of them, and he went and bought a moped, a scooter. And he said, I had to take that back and forth to work. And he goes, yes, in the rain and everything, I had to drive this scooter. Well, that scooter became Tim's why. And it was because he focused on the Lexus. And he said, you know what? I'm too cheap to buy. He goes, Michelle's making great income at this time. He wasn't yet, but he goes, Michelle's making great income, and we could afford a vehicle. He goes, but this is not my why. And so he made that his thing to get the Lexus. And yes, eventually they did get the Lexus, and it was just incredible. I just love the story, and it kind of reminds us of ourselves. And it does. Shane is laughing over here, but it's so true. It's right along with our story. It was awesome. They did put a couple of points out there, and I believe they applied to both men and women. But they said from a guy's perspective, one of the hugest things is, yes, be regular on Facebook, just like we all are. But for men, it's really important to get involved in a community. Be a Little League coach, a PTA, volunteer in a community. And all while doing it, wear your pet Plexus bling, wear your shirts, wear your hats, start conversations. Not that you have to go out and drum up business, but that they'll come to you. And I think that applies to all of us when we wear our Plexus stuff. It does start conversations. The other thing they recommended was get involved in Facebook groups, just different hobbies that you're interested. For guys, he's mentioned football, or Jarrett mentioned filming and cameras and things like that he's really interested in. Start non-Plexus conversations, and just where does it lead? The last thing that they shared, which kind of really hit home with me, and I never thought of it before, but men typically seem to be more number driven. They want to see the bottom line. You can go to them and say, yes, the health benefits and things like that, but ultimately, what is it going to cost me, or what am I going to make? And it was just cool for them to say that, because I've kind of thought that in the past, but yet I never wanted to push that issue. And they basically said it's okay. That's where men are coming from. So all in all, it was a great thing. Just checking over my notes. I don't think I missed anything. So the men's group was awesome. And I look forward to it next year.
That's awesome. Yes, and I think they're going to try to do one at Leaders Retreat too. So that's going to be fantastic. Yeah, that is awesome. Well, thank you. That is great information. The only other thing I wanted to share tonight, we'll wrap up because I know we're going over time. Y'all know I'm kind of neurotic about my 30 minutes. But we had 2 new products. Hopefully everyone knows about our 2 new products. Really, Block is a recreation. It is a slightly different formula. It also has a capsule that easily dissolves, so it is a fast-acting product now. It's going to not take 30 minutes. It's going to dissolve immediately. You can take it right with your meal, which is awesome. Seeing a lot of people saying how much this is helping them already, so if you have not bought it, you might want to try it. Whether you're a big sugar eater or whether you're just kind of a normal, like we all end up eating sugar whether we like it or not, or carbs, this is a great product. And then Edge is our brand new, completely new product, which is in replacement for people of energy drinks. So I've had a few people ask me, well, why would I even want to do this when the Triplex makes me feel so great? Or aren't we already promoting general health without caffeine with the Triplex? And that's a great question. Really quickly, I want to address it and just say a lot of your friends are not on the Triplex. So that would be where I would market this. I would market this to those who are still drinking Starbucks coffee every day, are still using their Keurig every day, are still drinking those nasty Monster drinks, are putting all kinds of chemicals and toxins into their bodies that they don't even realize, and are paying significantly more for those products than they would pay with Edge. To me, it is a window product into the Plexus world. So while it helped me significantly with jet lag, I mean, I had no jet lag whatsoever. I came back and just was on it with 4 kids. I have used it for a couple of days, kind of getting over being in Vegas, and I used it on the tail end of our trip in Vegas because I was getting like 4 hours of sleep a night. It's a great product for us as well when and if we need it. And some of you might have debilitating diseases that you do have, more fatigue issues even with the Triplex, and it's going to, kick that. It could be used as a pre-workout. Lots of ways to use it. But if I'm like hard marketing this, targeting who do I really want to promote this to, it's going to be my friends who are still addicted to Starbucks and Monster and 5-Hour Energy and all that crap that they're putting in their bodies. And I'm going to go to them with this $1 a day, natural energy, mood enhancer, etc. So I hope that helps. There are other videos out there that I will start sharing on our team page from nutritionists and others on who are on the Jewel page who have posted even more about this, but that's kind of the general consensus. I personally have a couple girlfriends on the triplex who have fatigue issues, who have MS and other issues that do slow them down. And so I'm going to go to them with this product as well, because they're the types who really need it on top of the triplex. But for many of us, we don't need this product on top of the triplex, or could use it as a pre-workout or whatever. So anyway, it's awesome. I love it. Thank you, everyone. You did an amazing job. I appreciate all of your comments. If anybody has any other takeaways, feel free to add them to the comments under this when I post it on the team page. Y'all have a great night. Thanks again. I'll see you later. Bye.